Hi, welcome to Wholeheartedly for the Lord Bible Journaling with Sherry. Today is part 2 of my entry on gratitude is always an option. If you've seen the first video, you saw my biblical entry, and now I'm going to do what I do sometimes as part of my reflections. I'll use my iPad and do it digitally. If you've seen some of my videos, you know I like to either use a TN or digital Bible journaling, or I'll use my mini garden Bible just to put a quick note in there. So there's a variety of ways that you can use to capture your reflections if it doesn't fit on your Bible page or even a notebook. So what I try to do is try to marry the two elements together by using the same elements digitally that I used in my physical Bible. So as you can see on the screen, for those of you who are new and may not have seen me do digital Bible journaling, if you hear me stutter with that, it's just always hard for me to get that word out together. Anywho, I'm using my iPad Pro, an Apple Pencil, my iCloud, iPhoto, and then the apps that I use are Magic Eraser, GoodNotes 5, and then of course a printable from my collection of printables from Etsy shops. This is the easiest way for me to Bible journal, but there are so many ways that you can digitally Bible journal, and people do it in Word. Some people do it, you can do it in Notability. You can do it on a Windows computer. I have yet to learn how to do it actually on my iMac desktop, but I can do it on a Windows computer and I can do it in my iPad. So that's a good way. So if you ever want more information about it or a walkthrough, please let me know. But I am using this moment right here to kind of do a semi-tutorial for those of you who have iPad Pros and iPad Pro pencils. Again, you can do it in a variety of other ways. It's just no limit to Bible journaling, and I love it. So I hope you're inspired by this video. I hope you're able to follow. If you have any questions, please email me at wholeheartedlyforthelord@gmail.com, or put your questions down in the description box below, and I'll be happy to clarify anything if I can. If not, I'll find out the answer for you. Thank you for watching, and remember, if I can Bible journal, so can you. Take care. I will try not to make this video long, but I'll also try to be as detailed as I possibly can. So here is some of my digital entries. That's mine for May. Every month I change it because I like to use Our Daily Bread and different kind of devotions and reflections, and I'll just keep it in there monthly cataloged. And so those are some of my entries, and I usually post those on Instagram. But here is my blank slate. This is what I'm going to use to do my entry. Here's the principle that I'm using. The first step you would want to do is I take a snapshot of the printable. And this printable automatically goes into my photos. Again, this is the way that I do it. There are many ways that you can do it. Mine is not written in stone. This is just easier for me. So then I'm going to get my next printable as it downloads, and I'm going to take a snapshot of that. That's step one. You want to get your elements that you're going to work with and get them all together and snapshot them. My next step is going to make them into a transparent background, and you'll see that shortly. Since I am using a Max Lucado devotion, I decided to take a snapshot of the devotion from my Kindle. And again, this goes into my photos, and I'm going to import it or insert it into my Bible page, which you will see right now. So as I'm inserting it, I'm clicking on, let me slow it down for you so you can see. Up top, there's a scenery which I click on, and that's where all of my photos are. And now once I open that up, I bring in my current photo, and that's how I'm able to import it into my GoodNotes. Now we want to make those printables transparent. So I am in the app called Magic Eraser, and I pull it in from my photos, and then I tap on Magic Eraser and I import it. And if you look down to the left hand corner, it says tolerance. It's like a little wand, it's orange. That's what I use to make the background, to tap on it to erase the background. And once that's done, you tap on that, and then you want the one to the right, which is the transparent background, and click on high resolution, and it saves back into your photos. So now I'm doing is prepping it. I'm prepping it so that I'm able to cut and paste what I want. Here's the background with the opaque background. I tap on it and change it. Sometimes I change the background to a black background so I can see the white. Sometimes the transparent background makes it hard to see. And you can fill in those white spaces if you want. That's something I would have to show you later on. And you would do that by clicking on the restore button, and you can fill in some of the spaces that may have been wiped out because it was erased. And like I said, that's something that if you have a question about, I can do a separate video on just how to restore, but I'm doing a little bit of it here just to show you, to bring in some of those elements that were kind of cut off. But again, that's another thing. So it doesn't matter to me at this point because my background on my digital page is white. So if some of it is cut off, it's okay. You'll still see the black lining, and the white will just fill in the space. Just like in Bible journaling, prep work has to be done. So my prep work is done. I have my transparent background, and what I'm doing right now is just kind of moving things around to see what elements I want to place where. Because on the left hand side it's mostly writing, you can't put too much over there, but sometimes if you have a smaller writing or just a little bit, you can really fill up that page with a lot more elements. But I just wanted to beautify the page a little bit. So what I'm doing right now is I am finding my elements, and if you notice, I'm clicking on freehand and I draw around the element that I want, and it automatically cuts it out, and you place it wherever you want it to go, and you can move it, resize it, spin it around, all kinds of things. So again, I'm finding the element that I want to use and I'm drawing around it, and there it is. You can see part of my wing is cut off, but that's okay because I have white space that's going to fill it, and I'm just stacking it up. The first element you put down will be, of course, your bottom layer, and then the next element that you put on it will be your top layer. So you have to play around with that. So you just play around with it just like you would in Bible journaling, and it's really fun and creative. I can sit in my bed or in my car or wherever and just digitally journal and spend that time with the Lord and do my reflections. And so that's basically it. It's copying or cropping and pasting it on the page where you want it to go. If you don't want it there, you can just click on the X and take it off. It is kind of hard to see, but I have clicked on that blue square, which I said is kind of like a landscape scenery. That's where all of my photos are. So I just keep pulling in that same principle and cutting off or cropping out what I want. And once you get used to it, you just keep cropping off the elements that you want. It doesn't take a lot of time once you get the hang of it, and it just becomes muscle memory, and it's really a great creative way to journal. Now that we have all of our elements on the page, in the center I am going to do some typing. So up top you can see next to that landscape, I click on the letter T, and that pulls up the fonts for typing. You have options of your font size, you have options of color. I'm enlarging my size now to whatever you want. You can always readjust it. Here I'm choosing the color that I want on the page, and you also have a color wheel that you can change the color around to really get a perfect match. And then you have your, to the left of the font size, you have your, not your font size, I mean next to the font size you have your, what is that? Your letter type. I can't remember what the name of it is. So what I'm doing right now is I am typing my reflections on the page, and it goes right there. You can insert a journaling card, which I've done. You can do so many creative ways, but because of spacing, I decided to just go ahead and type on the space that was available there. And like I said, you can change the size if you run out of space. If it's too big, you can change the type of lettering that you want to have. There's a variety of those there, and that's basically it. That's it in a nutshell. Again, if you have specific questions, please put them in the description box below, and I'll be glad to answer them. I've already highlighted, I think you saw me highlighting some of the elements that stuck out for me. You also have a variety of pen tools up top to the far left. You have a pen tool, you have an eraser, you have a marker or slash a highlighter, and you can adjust it to whatever you want. Now what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to get my lettering together to fit on the page better, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the left hand side really soon to the pen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that pen, and then I'm going to go 1, 2 spaces over to what it looks like shapes: a circle, a triangle, and a rectangle. I mean a square. And what I'll do is I'll tap on it and I will draw a square around it. When you hit the pen and then you hit those shapes, it'll make a perfect rectangle or a perfect circle, oval, or square for you. And I like to do that just to kind of like block off the writing so everything doesn't look kind of just bunched up on the page. That's what I want to say. I'm trying to square it off so it can look like a box that's going around my reflections, if that makes sense. Again, you can see me clicking on that pen tool. The color is changing according to the pen color that I want. And then, like I said, I click on that shape tool, and that shape tool gives me an opportunity to make a perfect square, rectangle, or circle around my typing. There are other tools. There's a lasso tool that I'm trying to learn to get better at, so I can't speak on it. I won't speak on something that I'm not comfortable with myself. So once I master it, and I will continue to work on that, I will show another video on how to use that loop. And that loop works great because you can turn letterings and you can make it go straight down the page, horizontally or diagonally. And then you can also use that as your crop tool as well. But again, I'm working on that, and I'll have that as soon as I get it. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you were inspired. I hope you were able to follow. Please ask me questions so that you can be clear if you have any. Take care. And digital Bible journaling is not for everyone. This is just for those of you who may be curious, who may want to give it a try. If I can do it, certainly you can do it, because it was so hard for me to get this, because the videos that were out there were a little hard for me to follow. You know, that light bulb just didn't click for me. But then I met someone in Praise and Pray Bible journaling group, Disha. She was doing digital Bible journaling, and she used the same kind of iPad and everything that I use, and she just gave me these like 1, 2 steps, 1, 2, 3 steps that I told you about, and that was it. I just took off from there. So I'm so grateful to her for taking out the time to tell me how to kind of like get this thing and master it. And that's what I want to do for you guys. And the better I get at it, and the more that I learn, the more that I will share with you guys, because we are in this together. We're trying to learn, right? Anyway, you guys take care. Bye. I appreciate you guys sticking through this whole video. It's a lot longer than I like videos to be from me. So thank you so much.